Here we go. Here we go. And we're doing it. And there's stuff. Hello, Twitch people. How's it going? I'm very excited for this one. This is gonna be a good one. Let's see. We have Fenaria and Claire Cares and Hey There Abby and Geeky Gimp and Sable. Thank you for the sub for 22 months. It's pickle time. And if you don't know, you're going to find out. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Abbers. Welcome. I play video games here on Twitch sometimes. I also do a little podcast where I interview other streamers sometimes. And so that is what we're doing today. I'm so excited to introduce you to a lovely, wonderful friend of mine. Here's a little clip of them.
Small. Am I smaller? Are you crouched in game?
I feel like I'm crouched too.
I'm definitely smaller. I feel like I'm like extra short too. I'm gonna laugh if I really was crouched. Oh, that's how I stand up. Oh my gosh, I was crouched! Damn it! I was crouched too. C is the only button you need? C is the only button? What you got? Damn it! Okay, I really was crouched. Please. Ah! I forgot about the damn badger!
Get the fuck?
Ah! Jesus Christ! My best position is this position. Crouching, crouching, crouching all the time. All the time, all the time. I am crouching all the time. Please don't kill me! Ah! Shit! Oh my god! No, 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 no. Ah!
Behind you.
What? Ah! Fuck. How close can I get to her? So I'm guessing crouched is the way to go. Because I'm just saying.
1 minute later.
Oh no! Oh, what the fuck?
So good. So good. It makes me laugh every time. It is one of my favorite channel trailers. Everybody please welcome SlicedRaven.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good.
I'm so excited to have
I'm
you.
very
For
excited,
those
too.
who don't know, Raven's one of my dear Twitch friends who I actually have had the honor and pleasure of becoming friends with in real life, and so it's very exciting to talk to you. Well, should we just get into this thing?
Yeah, let's
All
do
right.
it.
So, do you remember your very first stream?
Oh, I'm like, yes, I do. I believe my very, very first stream was very different. I had wanted to start streaming, and so I had an Xbox at the time and a PlayStation, and so I was kind of testing out to see which one I wanted to use to like start streaming off of. And so I streamed Dishonored, and it was in February of 2017. And I started like I just played Dishonored for like a couple of streams, and then I decided to. I realized, I think my first stream, I realized that I couldn't see chat at all on Xbox, and I didn't know that that was going to be the case. Like PlayStation and Xbox, if you stream from them natively, like native wise, it'll be without a capture card or anything. They'll do one like on PlayStation, you have like an overlay that'll actually pop up with your chat so you can see chat and respond to it. It's a lot. It's really super. It used to be really super delayed, but at least you could see chat. And so so yeah, it was kind of like just a note. I didn't know how many people were even watching on Xbox, because I already knew that I didn't want to have a viewer count up necessarily.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Xbox had a way to do that you know.
Yeah.
And I think I streamed to zero people. I'm pretty sure, though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I was one of those people that started off streaming to zero people for a very long time. For probably about at least 3 months. You know, at least 3 months of my streaming, and I was streaming 6 days a week when I started.
That's so much.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I did that actually for 2 years. And then I started tapering it down because I realized I was really burning myself out. So,
totally. Yeah.
But yeah, when I first started, I streamed 6 days a week. So, and I streamed several different games. I was always variety. So, but I didn't stream horror. It wasn't something that I got into until a little later, through a redemption. Actually, I would play like games like I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I played the entire game on stream, and then I got into playing Borderlands. And while I was playing that, I put up a stream redemption. It was like my first one. I was starting to get into stream redemptions, and because I had an audience at that point.
Yeah.
And so like then I had channel points, my own channel point system before channel points existed, and they were feathers, actually. And the feathers were and so my first one was to play Outlast on stream.
Okay.
And so that was the first horror game that I actually played on stream, was Outlast.
Gotcha.
Because I said I would only play it on stream because it scared me so bad.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, for you, I mean, anyone that started streaming before 2020, I kind of consider to be an OG, because there was this like mass influx during quarantine of people streaming. And so anyone that had been there prior, I think had or has a very different perspective of streaming. Like, have you noticed like changes since you first started?
Oh, there's been changes since I took a hiatus. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I came back and I was like, what are all these new things? What are these new toys they put? You know?
What is this?
What is this? What's this? What's this? Yeah, like it's totally been like that. But I mean, it got to the point when I needed to take my hiatus because there was a lot of like life changes that caused that, but like a lot of things, but also, you know, it impacted my ability to really stream, and it impacted but it also, I completely forgot where I was going with that. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Fine.
But yeah, you know, I when I came back, while I took my hiatus, like before that, even trying to keep up with it very much started feeling like keeping up with the Joneses. Like it felt like if they unlocked all these emote slots, and we were just talking about how it kind of gives you a bit of an anxiety whenever they do like give us something, because it's like, well, now I have to do that.
Right.
Like, you know, like,
yep.
So
yeah.
And so I kind of started feeling like that, and it definitely like put some like pressure on, you know, I felt like it definitely indicated that I needed to take a break, because if I was viewing it like this in this way that was, this is turning into a chore, I didn't want to do it. You know, I just don't think that that's a good way to approach content creation, is to force yourself into it.
Totally. Well, I definitely want to get into talking about the hiatus, because I think this is something that a lot of streamers experience. But just before that, going kind of back, when you did first start, if you go back maybe a few like weeks or months prior to like the first time that you actually went live, like what was your thought process in deciding that you wanted to try streaming?
My thought process was that I wanted to show myself that I could do something that I was terrified of. I always streamed with a camera because when I was younger, anytime I would go on a camera, I would freeze up and I wouldn't know what to do. And I couldn't like be on camera and be myself.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to prove to myself that I could. And also I had my sister-in-law at the time. She wanted to do YouTube.
Okay.
And so, and I kind of wanted to show her that you can do things that you're afraid of. You can, like overcome that fear and like and try something new. And so I'd had a friend, who, knew I was into video games. He also was into video games. He was like, you should stream on Twitch,
Yeah.
And I was like, so I started looking into it and I was like, okay, I was like, I'm going to do this, I don't know how. And I was terrified, like the first, like probably the first 3 months of streaming. Like I didn't know,
Yeah.
I honestly like didn't know if I would continue to do it or not. But then I just like I fell in love with it and got this huge passion with being able to connect with community and being able to create this community around like common interests was just really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and so for you as someone who like, kind of had friends that played video games and kind of got you into it, were you a viewer on Twitch or a fan of anyone on Twitch before you started streaming?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't. I had never even heard of Twitch.
Yeah.
Like whenever he mentioned it, I was like, "What is Twitch?" And I'd been gaming for years, but I just didn't, since I was a child. But I just didn't. I didn't know anything about streaming online video games,
Yeah.
And I was just like, "What is this?" And I just, it hooked me in as soon as I started. And I knew that that I wanted to keep doing it, even if like, even whenever it got hard and there was like, I didn't know if I would ever get my first like people in.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just was like, this is fun. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it until it, until it's not fun,
Yeah.
is basically the mentality that I had.
Yeah. And so how long did it take? Like when did people start finding you?
It took me about 3 months.
Okay.
So I started streaming in February, and it was about like about May. May is when I got my affiliateship. So I'm coming up on my 7-year affiliate
Congratulations.
anniversary.
That's
Thank you.
exciting. Yeah.
And 7's my favorite number, so
Love it.
it's gonna be a good year.
You gonna have a big
So,
party or what?
yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna do it out, and it's been a long
Yeah.
time since I've had an affiliate party. I kind of like just let the other ones go to just kind of lay where they're at. Like I was
Yeah.
like, we didn't really do anything big the last couple. Well, and I took the hiatus, so so like last year I didn't do anything. The year before that I didn't really do anything. But I would like to do a big party. It's been a
Yeah.
long time since I've done a stream like that.
You
So
should. Yeah. Just celebrate it because it's really cool.
special event, stream. So
Yeah. So what changed for you, I guess, when people started like interacting in chat?
oh God, like that like lit me up inside. I was like, oh my God, people
Yeah.
are talking to me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I was like, these people are talking to me and they're actually like, conversing with me and asking me questions about the game. And, I remember the first, I wish I remembered, I feel like his name was like Gay Bear or something like that. But like, he was a gay bear.
We
told me
love a
that.
gay bear.
And
Can
we
I
love a
just
good gay
say,
bear.
we
I
do
mean,
love a good
my
gay
first,
bear.
my first, my first chatter was a gay bear.
Oh my God,
And
perfection.
it was during my Horizon Zero Dawn stream, actually,
Okay.
because, and I had been streaming for, at least a month by then. And I was like a month or two. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I think I even like had to like, I'll be right back. And I like ran to the bathroom and I like got really excited. And then I came back to stream
Aw.
because I was just like, somebody's talking to me. It was just really, really cool. And it kind of like, it made me feel like, this like connection that you don't really get anywhere else. Like you can't like connecting people with your like common interest and your special interest as well is just so, it's just so valuable.
Yeah.
There's value in that. There's something that happens between, in a stream when people are connecting and like finding stuff about themselves and also like also just connecting on a more like, I don't know, a different level.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Well, I find Twitch to be fascinating because it's like it's kind of this great equalizer in that like you've got people from like all different countries, all different ages, all different walks of life, right? And at the same time, I think you've hit on something there where it's like niche interest, but also common interest. So it's like you'll find people that are interested in whatever game you're playing, or you'll find people that see that you're a queer streamer and like want to connect on that level. So
right.
it's cool
Give
these different
all
like
these,
aspects of
yeah,
connection. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
totally.
And all the different pathways like that you connect with each other, you know. And yeah, we have a lot of, and you kind of like what's I've always considered beautiful about Twitch is that you find your tribe. And so you're like, you have this like cultivated group of people that like, you know, like allow you to be yourself on, you know, in a very public way, but
Yeah,
at the same, you know, and allow you to be vulnerable,
yeah.
you know. and so like those friendships are just this really deep connection, I feel.
Yeah. Well, I love that too, like this idea of like it's so interesting because it is public. You're putting yourself out there for like anyone who wants to like happen upon your stream to watch, and at the same time there is something that feels very like private and sacred and like safe about it, I think too, that
It
is really
does.
interesting because it does allow you like I feel that like I felt so honored that like when I first started like my stream is one of very few places in my life where I feel like I can like completely be myself, and anyone that doesn't jive with that can leave. You know what I mean? So it's there's
Right.
something really interesting about that kind of like juxtaposition to me, because you would think that they'd be at odds with each other, like being so public and at the same time like being so open about who you are, you know?
It's very true. You do feel like that because and in that way, like it's a really great, you know, it's helped me grow in ways that I didn't think that I could, you know, that I didn't know I could grow,
Yeah.
really. So
Yeah.
not just like in streaming, but in my life. So
Yeah. What is the story behind your screen name?
okay, so
Okay.
okay. Okay, so it's not, I mean, I say it as if there's some sort of like really like, you know, intricate story. So sliced, the sliced portion, number one, I knew that I would have to come up with a username that wasn't used anywhere else. And so I, you know, I used like a name, like there's a, I can't remember the link anymore because I only used it once, but um, but it's like you can look up and see if your username is going to be used on any platform. And so like I went in there and I put and I knew that I wanted something, you know, something unique enough. And so I was like, sliced comes from an old painting that I did that was called Sliced Flower. And Sliced Flower was actually, it's still my PSN name because I haven't changed it.
Oh, okay.
But Sliced Flower was a painting that I did, a title of a painting that I did whenever I was like, I think I did it like in 2000, like in the early like 2000s. And and then Raven came from the fact that I love Edgar Allan Poe. I have the Raven actually on my right arm. I have the excerpt from the like the first excerpt and then the last one as a part of my like my sleeve on my arm. So I've always just loved Edgar Allan Poe. I loved you know, the retellings of his stories and everything. And so, and the Raven was one of my favorites as far as his, you know, his horror poetry goes. And so I combined those two and put it into the engine, and it said, nobody has this name. So I used it. And yeah, it's been great. I've thought about changing it, honestly. Like I was going to try to put it like just as Raven, but I knew that was taken. But like I couldn't think of anything else I would do, you know?
Yeah.
And I've also had like Cade, you know, from Mid Boss actually was the one that told me. He was like, it's a very like memorable name. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I'll keep it then, you know? So because yeah, I thought about just shortening it to Raven or finding a way to like do that. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my little brother, his handle is Star Knuckle. And it's kind of a similar thing where like he's like, yeah, these are just like two words put together that like are kind of meaningless, but no one else has it and it's easy to remember. I was like, yeah,
It
that's an
is.
interesting like strategy or like thought process behind it. Yeah.
It is, and it's just it works, you know. And it is like Star Knuckles memorable. I
Yeah.
could, you know, I
Totally.
definitely remember that.
Sliced
So
Raven
I
is
get that.
memorable. Well, and like
Yeah.
Abbers M2, we were just talking about that. The M2 always throws people, but it's because Abbers was already taken, and it's like it's a whole thing. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think if you're able to find something that is memorable and that is like short enough that people, you know, can grab onto it, like it's really smart. Yeah. What kind of people tend to find your streams?
Um, people that love chaos. No. People that love no. I'm not really that. I mean, I've been told my stream is cozy, even though, as you can tell from my trailer, there's a lot of screams.
Uh-huh.
But like, yeah, I think it's people that love horror. I think it's queer people. I think that that people that find my streams are also people in the you know, which I've never actually, and this is the first time I'm probably saying it on stream too. I've never really identified as disabled, but I am disabled. It's just internalized ableism really that's kept me from taking on that identity.
Yeah.
And it's been my own journey getting there, but like you know, but the disability community as well. Is you know, I have disabled folks, I have autistic folks, I have ADHD folks, so I think neurodiversity is definitely a way that people, you know, which I think we neurodiverse people, we just find each other in real life and
Yep.
outside.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter, like we just like those are my people. You know, like,
Like,
so,
you get it. Cool. Yes.
you
Good.
understand. Yeah, you understand. And before I even knew I was neurodiverse, I realized once I got diagnosed with ADHD that I was surrounded by first people.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even something that like was intentional or like I didn't even realize I was gravitating towards.
Yeah.
So so definitely like an eclectic group of, you know, and now that I do art on stream, I also got, you know, art fans as well.
Yeah.
People that are, you know, into art and people that do art. I actually, when I started doing pour painting, I actually had a lot of like some of the artists from Instagram would even come to the streams and stuff. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that because so it sounds like you started out playing games that you just enjoy and then you kind of had this channel redemption for horror games and that kind of like led you into playing horror because I think of you as a horror streamer and I also think of you as an art streamer. So how did that kind of progression happen?
So that progression was like I said, the first stream that I did for horror was Outlast, and it was also the first like stream that I did on a computer, on a gaming laptop. I did it.
Game changer.
And
Yeah.
yeah, oh, totally. Like I could put on overlays. Like, what's that? Like that's
Incredible.
so incredible.
I can see chat and the game I'm playing at the same time.
Oh
what?
my gosh.
Yeah.
These magical devices. So you know, yeah, I did horror. And so then I started like, I realized that, you know, folks liked watching me play horror because we would get, you know, and I liked playing horror on stream. Like I don't really play it off stream. I definitely don't, but like on stream, I really started to enjoy it. Like, you know, even though the nest likes to get me a lot, like they like to get me a lot on the games, but it was just, you know, it's fun. Like it's exhilarating and it made for, you know, for a lot of really fun content. So, and then whenever it was probably about, gosh, how long? It was was it during the pandemic? I feel like it's still 2020.
It is. Don't worry. It will forever.
Don't worry.
It will always be.
It will always be.
It's never going to end. Yeah.
Where-
Oh, bleak. Sorry. Just existential noises.
It's very, yeah, very much like that. And I started, what I started doing is I started watching art videos on YouTube. And one of the creators that I always talk about, and I can't remember the name of her website, but I do know her name. And her name is Olga Solby, and she's a Swedish content creator on YouTube. And she did pour painting, and she not only did pour painting, but she had a blog that like went over color theory. She had a blog that like it was so detailed out in such a like way that like just attracted me to it, and I was like, this is a really cool way to do art, and I really like the results, and I like the freedom that you have with it and the experimentation. I'm a science nerd. I'm a scientist by trade. And so I, as well as like study. And so I wanted to get into, I was like, oh, I want to do this. Like, I want to do this even if I just do it for myself, And so I started creating TikTok videos, and that's when TikTok was just out. But I was like, oh, there's this little short editing video app that they have out now, and you can edit from within the app, and it's just real. You can also do time-lapse videos, which I thought it would be really cool to do time-lapse videos of my painting. And so I did the first like few, I want to say like 5 or 6 videos that I did on TikTok, and I really loved it. And I was like, this is really cool. I was like, I should figure out how to do this on stream. So I did, I figured out that I needed to get an overhead camera, which the first painting stream, I used my phone. Nice. I did they have the on capture program that's on iPhones. And so I don't even know if I had my iPhone at the time, but like I did an on capture program on my phone, I remember. And so I had like a tripod, like holding that over, and it was so inconvenient and terrible. And so like, I'm pretty sure my phone fell in the paint.
No.
I'm pretty sure that happened the first stream. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly, but I'm like, I remember a camera falling.
Sounds like, yeah.
Of some sort.
Yeah.
I know like one of my Logitechs did fall in the paint one time. Like it just fell off my tripod, and that is one of the like risks of painting with an overhead camera. But
totally.
But yeah, it was awful using the phone, and I was like, I have to get a camera. And so, yeah, I started doing, but I was like, this is so much fun. And everybody seemed like they enjoyed it. Everybody, like people would tell me that it was like visual ASMR, it's just very relaxing to watch and everything. And that's how I felt whenever I was watching, when I was watching Olga paint on her YouTube videos, or like, and I was like, nobody's really doing this on stream. I mean, in fact, like a lot of people, there's very few like, physical artists that do physical work on stream. I mean, I've found like glass blowers even that do streams, which is really cool. But there's just less. There's more digital art than there is physical art. So
yeah,
I was like, well, there's a place for this here. So I was like, and I really enjoy doing it. It's a nice break from playing games, like totally different feel, totally different vibe. You slow down to the point of like, because when I'm on a game stream, like I feel like like I'm just go. I have like goals in the game. I have, things that we're trying to either, like parts that we're trying to get to. Most of the time on my stream, I say that like I'm goal oriented. On my game streams, I'm not. But because I'm like, wait, think about it. We sit there and chat, and I just stop playing the game for like
sure
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I end up getting so into chat that I would, responding to chat for me is more important than whatever that I'm going to have to do in the game, because we can get to that, like I said, I'm not trying to like, because I don't have like, it's not like a mission based thing for me. I'm just trying to do the playthrough.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I don't really have the quite, like I can just sit there and like chat for a while. We're fine.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I talked to Bromanda the Blur a while back on here. It was absolutely delightful. She does cooking streams sometimes, and I'm amazed that her attention her attention is more pulled when she's playing a game versus when she's cooking, which is wild to me because if I ever tried to do a cooking stream, I would be so much more focused on cooking than like talking to chat. And so like
I
for
would
you,
too.
right? But for you as someone doing art, like you're really good about like it feels like a just chatting stream.
Did you see my face whenever you said you're really good at managing that? I'm like,
you are though. I love Saturday morning painting streams. I mean, for real, if anyone's not following Raymond already at this point, what are you doing with your life? But no, like I think you do. Oh, I already shouted you out. It won't let me shout you out again.
It doesn't let you do it twice?
It's so rude.
I didn't know that. That's so rude.
We got to wait another 33 minutes to shout you out, but
okay.
we have manual shout out, so it's okay. But you do a really good job of like narrating what you're doing while you're painting and like checking in with chat. And like, I think that to me, but I'm curious if this is how you experience it. That's a testament to how natural doing art maybe feels to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Especially at this point, you know, I definitely like, because I've been doing the pour painting for so long, I feel like that, you know, it definitely is there's a comfort level there. Like I know, I mean, I don't use any, like when I mix my paints, even I don't use measurements. I just go based off of feeling and, like knowing the consistency's right. And so like it's become such a comfort level thing that I feel like I can do it a lot better. When I first started, it wasn't the case, of course. You know, when it first started, like chat would like roll by and I'd just be like, oh, I gotta catch up. Sorry. Sorry.
Sure.
They know how it is though. I do it all the time. I always try to go catch up on chat and try to catch messages that I didn't see. So but I was just a lot like, now I can like almost, I can see out of that corner of my eye whenever someone chats. And so I'll, you know, turn my head. But getting myself to do that in the beginning was definitely because I'm like, I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like anything. It's a skill-based thing. So the longer you do it, the more comfortable it gets, right? So
yeah,
both streaming and pour painting or whatever else you're doing is just something that like I think takes time to get good at and feel comfortable with, you know?
Absolutely.
Prior to doing pour painting on stream and like on TikTok, like how did you get into art just in life in general?
I've been doing art since I was little. Like, I was always drawing and always my mom taught me techniques. She's an artist. She's a crafter and an artist and just an all-around pioneer woman. Like you give that woman a task and she'll figure out how to do it. It doesn't matter. Like if she's never done it before, it doesn't matter if she doesn't know how. She will, if she takes an interest in it, but she usually does, like if it's something she's never done before. So she taught me. She's done all sorts of different types of art. Whenever I was a kid, I spent a lot of time at craft shows because my mom would sell her art at craft shows, and so we would go on the weekends and set up. And so I'd like get to hang out with all the vendors and I would get to help sell her art. And then she actually got me involved with like making her pieces too, and I would help because she would have to reproduce pieces in order to sell them. So she would do like, I remember we would make these little log snowmen. And so she had this whole process, you know, we would have to paint the log and then we'd have to like get the carrot nose that she had, you know, carved out or whatever, and then paint that and then, you know, put it all together. And so it was, it's just always been like kind of just woven into my life is art. And I took as many art classes as I could all growing up. I took like sculpting classes when I was in middle school, drawing classes. I took ceramics. I took like art history because I love history also. And then I also took like painting, like several painting classes. And then whenever I went to college, I got into science. So I started, and I honestly like stopped doing art a lot when I was in college. There's about 4 years that I kind of, and I feel like when you're a person that loves creativity and you love creating, you have to take those breaks, from it,
Definitely.
to revamp yourself and learn new things, and and just give your brain a break from creating.
Yeah.
And so then whenever I got out of college, I started, drawing and painting again. And then just
Yeah.
keep going, and I find new art things that I want to try every day, all the time. Like,
Yeah.
so
It's so cool. I mean, I love creative people. I'm a creative person, so like I love seeing people like just get so passionate about projects and get so like, I don't know, this speaks to the neurodivergent thing too, but like getting really hyper fixated on this thing that they
mhm.
love. There's something so like magnetic about that energy that I really enjoy. I think with your
Same.
college experience and just with who you are, there's something interesting to me about this idea. There's a misunderstanding, I think, of like you're either a STEM science person or a creative person, like
Yeah,
left brain, right brain, like all of this stuff that is like totally false. Can you
it
can you speak
is.
to that kind of like the meeting of those two worlds in terms of being a science lover and being an artist, creative type?
Absolutely. I mean, science is all about problem solving. Science is all about fucking around and finding out. Excuse me. But
Totally.
yeah, like,
How dare you
like,
stream on my
how
fucking
dare
stream?
you?
You get
Yeah,
the
how
fuck
dare
out
you?
right now.
Remove yourself, heathen.
This is a
Like,
dignified
so,
place.
you fuck around and find out. I
Yeah.
mean, the act of creativity is the act of play. Well, what is experimentation? Experimentation is play. It's
Yeah.
play. It's something that you have to like take a risk on, that you don't know how it's going to turn out. You
Yeah.
don't know the answer. You're trying to find out the answer. And so that's that they to me they intermix perfectly.
Yeah.
And then when it came to pour painting, that just felt like a total experimental process. Like, anytime you pour and you have very little control of the outcome, you have some control, but you control what you control, and then you let the rest go. And then it's just, to me, it's a very scientific process.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how, life is, it's just, you keep fucking around and finding out.
For
So.
real. Yeah. Yeah. It's that whole like art imitating life thing, but also like life imitating art thing. And just like, I think everything, like Twitch is this like microcosm of existence. And I think that like art and science, like all of these things have this like kind of like connecting thread in terms of this idea of like, you only have so much control as you have control of,
Mm-hmm.
and you have control of your decision making. But in terms of like the outcome is what it is, so
Yep.
yeah, it's really interesting to me. And I think I've always been a creative person that like kind of like for a variety of reasons, I think with regard to my upbringing, kind of believed that like I couldn't do both necessarily, you know what I mean? It's kind of this
Yeah.
idea of like you have to like choose one route. And so I
That's what
love,
they tried to teach you. Like,
right,
really.
especially as someone
Like,
assigned female at birth, I think there's this kind of idea of like push them away from science a little bit, you know what I mean?
mhm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's something that like I just find it so refreshing and inspiring to meet people like you who like
Mhm.
not only represent this idea of like you can be passionate about, seemingly opposing things, and at the same time be like really good at them too.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It wasn't like, I felt like I mean, growing up with it, like I kind of felt like with two different passions like that, I always felt I did still feel torn, because yeah,
Yeah.
they still always tried to kind of like detach me. And maybe that's why I kind of took a break from art when I was in college, because I was so hyper focused on my science stuff.
Sure.
And
Sure.
for that, like, I was like, okay. But yeah, you're right. Like, and definitely, the whole like being female assigned at birth, and being in a STEM, interest is very like, there, now there's more places for us, but there really
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean, even when I first got into my career, there wasn't.
Yeah.
My first like my first actual like position in research, the doctor that I worked for, she had been, doing the study that I worked on was actually like a 20-year long study, and she would only hire females,
Mm.
actually. Like, everybody knew too. I mean, she would interview, but she wanted to give females assigned at birth a chance at being in science, because it was so difficult, because she was in her 70s at the time, so like when she started her career, it was almost just nobody, like very few were doing it. So I just always thought that was really like, it's just a telling of the times, like
Absolutely.
of where how it was still, how that was still affecting females assigned at birth in STEM.
Yeah,
So
definitely. My mom is a microbiologist / chemist by trade.
so cool.
And and she studied in college. Her major was microbiology and her minor was dance. And so I think that like
love it,
right? So I think that tells you a lot about my
Love
upbringing,
it.
and like, she's retired now and she's always loved community theater, and also so it's something that like I've definitely grown up with in my own home, but like you say, like this kind of when you're out in the world, I think it's different from our little like contained environments in terms of like what's normal and acceptable,
Very much so. Yeah, it's different. And it's something that I think at the time too, like when I tell people that's why I do tell that story, is because like of how like I first got into research, and who she would, she really focused on hiring, is because it just tells people, well, that tells you like what, like that we were not being, seen. We were not visible in in those fields. We weren't, like it was a very male orientated field. So
yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, this leads in kind of the question that I have for everyone always, like talking about like being assigned female at birth and being queer, and also neurodivergence and disability. Like, how do these varying like kind of aspects of your identity and your background show up on stream for you?
So, like I said, when it comes to like the disability portion, I really haven't. I've talked about my condition several times. When it comes up in chat, when we're talking about different things, and when it's been like contributes to the conversation, basically, of like why I have to do certain things a certain way in my life, or how it like how I know knowledge, is because based off of, having to learn my own disability and learn, basically become an expert on, my condition.
Yeah.
And so that's how that shows up in stream. As far as like my queerness, I mean, that's just, that's evident, but
Love it.
that's just all out there.
Here it is. Yeah.
Here it is. This is the queer.
What, you queer?
Like
I'm shocked.
And it's one of those things. And then like also like I just I really wanted I wanted to like shout from the treetops that our community is a safe place for queer people, and that for all queer people, and that we are that like I wanted that to resonate out, and not to be a secret, not to be like, oh, I'm this queer person, but I'm not going to put it in my no, I'm the lesbian supreme.
Okay, I was gonna be like, let's can we get into that? Where does lesbian supreme? You are
there's
the
a
lesbian
story.
supreme.
There's a story.
Anyone's wondering, welcome, SlicedRaven, lesbian supreme. How did you get that title?
Thank you. It's a self. It's a self title. It's a self.
You've earned it. I think you deserve
thank
it.
you.
Yeah. You wear it well.
Thank you so much.
I feel honored.
You should. No. So there was a game I used to play. I used to do group game streams a lot. Like I had a crew, like me and my streamer friends, like, and we would, Gabe's one of them. He's in there, I see him. And like, but a group of people like that I would play tabletop games. It was a group of us, and like my friend Edgar and my friend Power and my friend, and they were all streamers. We were all streamers, and we all, we played games together a lot. And so we would play like Dead by Daylight and things like that. But then sometimes we would play a game called Tabletop Simulator. Tabletop Simulator is a fun game because it's like you can play any like board game or whatever you want to play, card game on there that you want. And so I don't even remember what we were playing. I think we were playing some sort of like apples to apples type game or something like that. And there was and there's actually a clip of this too somewhere and of how I got it, because I was just like, because they were like, well, why should we do that? And I was like, because I'm the lesbian supreme, bitch. And so,
So good.
they, and we just started cackling and laughing and everything. And then it just like, it became a thing. And then I think one of my mods, I think it was Besso, like renamed me the the lesbian supreme. And then now I'm the pickled lesbian supreme. Because the memes just add on to each other, is what they do.
Yeah, it's true.
They just stack up
yeah
over time.
What is your experience of like the Twitch lore? Because it's true, you get all of these things that like are kind of weird inside jokes almost with your chat, and like what is, I don't know.
Nobody else would understand that. Like,
no,
no,
not at all. Well, in the pickle one, there's this amazing clip of Raven using a pickle filter, and that's, I believe, where the pickle,
it's the origination. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found a Snapchat filter. It's not a long story.
It's a great clip though. But yeah, what is your experience of the kind of Twitch lore? And I think going back to this idea of like what's within your control and what's not in your control with like the memes and everything.
I love it. I love the Twitch lore. I love the way that it's like added on. At first I was like, is this too like, quirky, as in like, is it going to just like fade out? No, it doesn't. At least not on my stream.
Yeah.
It doesn't fade out. People don't get tired of it. I thought they would. But it's actually one of those things. It's just, it's that connection. It's that it creates that bond, that creation that you that connection that you can't have with other people. Like you go out and tell somebody about, my pickle emote, they're going to look at you like,
people love it.
Well, yeah, thank you.
It's a great emote.
People on Twitch do. But like, if you went out to like, somebody who knew nothing of Twitch, they'd be like, what is this? What is,
I remember the first time I used the phrase poggers unironically outside of Twitch, and I was like, "Oh no! Like, what have I done?
No,
what has become of me?" Like,
that's great. I love it.
Oh God, no, it's true. This is something I'm always curious about. Like, do your friends and your family and people in your like normal like IRL life know about your streaming?
Yes. So I actually started recently, and I waited only 5 years to share anything of it on Facebook, because most of my family, like, and friends, that's like past family and friends and stuff like that, I've, that I either like don't have in like in a, like I don't like we don't contact each other, but we follow each other on Facebook, and like follow each other's lives basically. And then I have like my close family too on there, that I do talk to regularly. But I didn't start sharing anything on Facebook until like a year ago or something. Like whenever I came back from my hiatus, or not even a year ago, I guess it would have been like 6 months ago. So I didn't, so I waited a long time to even share anything on that platform, but like that was really the only way that they would have known, because they don't follow my SlicedRaven account on any, I do have some friends and family that follow my SlicedRaven account on Instagram. Okay. So they knew about it. My mom knew about it, but she's been to my streams. So, and she's always been super supportive. She loves that I do that. She loves that she loves that I found a way to like express myself in a way that like makes sense to me. So, she actually came in to stream one day, and when I was painting, and gifted some subs. It was really cute. Yeah. And then the rest of like people know that I do it, but like I every now and again I'll have like a coworker that's come in, which is a little awkward.
Weird, yeah. Oh God, I hope my coworkers never find out about this. Yeah.
Well, mine did, because when I worked for I worked for a company, and I guess I could probably, I don't think I'm under NDA anymore anyways, but I used to work for a company. I worked through a company that I held an NDA with, called TaskUs, and then I worked for a streaming service called Philo. Philo, I do want to call them out because they did amazing things for my charity streams. Like I advertised my charity streams with my work, and so that's why a lot of them knew about me.
Oh, that makes sense.
So like one of my old coworkers, he actually came into one of my streams recently, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Lewis, hey, how you doing?" But he's like, and but like I shared it with them to like see if I could get any help with raising the money, and Philo matched me. I mean, so they
Wow.
did like a corporate matching
That's so
almost, even though they're not
cool.
a corporation. They were a small streaming service actually,
Yeah.
trying to compete with Sling. So
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, so they weren't like, but they still matched me on my Color of Change and Trevor project donations, and so we ended up raising like $3,000.
That's amazing.
So it
How
was really, really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, you've done quite a few different like charity streams and things, like,
Yeah,
which is awesome. How
yeah.
did you kind of get inspired to do that?
Well, I wanted to find a way, like I was like, why, like I have this community now, like once I had established a community, I have this community now, and we like helping people. We like helping each other out. We like being
Yeah.
there for each. That's a big thing I always say I love seeing in chat is when people are like I'm playing a game and they're over here like, emotionally supporting each other, and it's
Yeah.
freaking beautiful.
Yeah,
It's just a
definitely.
really cool thing to see,
Mm-hmm.
and so like I was like, well, let's try to do some good with it too. I see all these people doing charity streams and such too. I was like, let me try to raise some money for some good causes. I think that would be really great, like especially like since I don't you know, I had, been in since I was doing it so often too at the time. Like I was doing like, 6 days a week, 5 days a week. I mean, I didn't get down to 3 days a week until like I was at like year 4. So
Yeah. That's a lot. I'm so curious, like how, or maybe I don't know. Well, why did you decide to stream that often when you first started?
I thought that is, see, we've talked, and Aaron and I, Geeky Gimp, we've actually talked about this. We talked about this the other day whenever we were gaming together or a while back, and about how like the ways that they told you that the only like they gave you such a limited like um a very limited perspective on how to be successful at streaming.
Yeah.
And so whenever I first started, you would literally like they would tell you stream as much as you can. The
Yeah.
more you're live, the more people you're going to connect with, the more people that are going to find you. And while that is not like while that number one, that's I mean, it does work, but it burns you out
Yeah,
faster.
definitely.
And I mean, I don't know how I did it for 2 years. I really don't at
Yeah.
this point. I have no idea. I would
Because you were
never have the
working at
energy
that
to do
time
that.
too, right?
I was working full time.
Wow.
So, but I would stream for at least 3 hours a night, 6 days a week. I would
Yeah.
take Thursdays off. I remember Thursday was my night,
Yeah.
that I would take off. And yeah, and it was definitely hard, like, to consistently do that. But I think in my head, I made that part of it. I made that like become a rule. And if I make it a rule, then I feel like I need to follow through with it. So,
Yeah.
so I made a lot of these rules for myself that didn't, that made sense for me at the time. But like, as you go on there's no sustainability in it,
Mhm.
and so and really a lot of the stuff that they told us and how to be a successful streamer, that's the case. Like there's
Yep.
nothing sustainable about it, you know
Not even in the least. Like, yeah.
there's not. And it also leaves no room for people that are that are disabled, that have
Yep.
that have like you know only so many spoons, only so much energy that you can put out into the world, so like that doesn't make and it completely like just eliminates those people from being successful, which is untrue.
Yeah.
And you don't need those things, and you can create a community without doing those things.
Definitely.
But I felt like, and that's what they told people, go as live as much as possible, and Oh, I would
Yeah.
not suggest it now, and I would tell people that like you can do things no matter how they tell you that to be to create a community and everything. Like, I mean, I was also told don't go into follower only mode. You were one of the first people I've ever seen do follower only. Like, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, and so we would go try to raid Abbers, and like I would be like, I'd tell people it's follower only, just so you know, but you're not gonna regret it. Just
funny.
follow.
I had
You
someone
know,
follow
like-
or raid me one time, and they like apologized to their community. They're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this was follower only," and I felt very like, "Excuse me," because it's one of those things that for me, it's like, you should have the
It's
right
very
to do
okay,
that.
yeah.
It's very okay.
Very okay.
Whether or not it stunts growth, I don't know. Maybe it does.
Didn't stunt yours. Like, so
I don't
I
think
feel like
so.
I mean, I watched you grow
Thank
from, because I've been watching you almost since you started.
I think
But-
so. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's for me that decision came from this place of, I don't know. There's enough about my various access intersections of identity that like people will want to troll, and so I'd like to like put like one little boundary, like it's harm reduction essentially, right? So
Absolutely.
you have to take one extra step if you want to say something nasty and terrible or whatever, and so I would rather people take a minute, hang out, see if this is the vibe, and if it's the vibe they can follow and chat, right? But like you said, that was something that when I did that, like lots of people were like, "Oh, that's a big mistake. That's a huge mistake." Like,
I'm sure,
like,
but I don't
it's
think
really
it was.
interesting. I don't.
I
Think
think
so
it was
either.
great.
I'm fine with it. I'm happy with my people. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. See, I think early on that would have benefited me a lot more.
Yeah.
Like now I don't feel like I need to. I very rarely lucky, but I very rarely get trolls.
Yeah.
So anymore. I used to get a lot.
Yeah.
Used to get a lot. Well, and there was a lot less tools back then too.
True.
To keep them, out. Like you didn't even have to have like, I don't even think you had to have like an email address verified. Like I mean, there was stuff, that they had in place, the phone number thing, that's something they added, that added a little bit more protection for you have to be phone verified. And I added that on, I was
Yeah.
like right away. And so I think that's
Definitely.
kind of helped. That one, there's several several moderation tools that they've put in. Siri bot. Yep. I see that one.
Yep.
That's exactly. Everybody went to Siri bot because that was because of the hate raids that would come in.
I keep doing these shout outs that they're the wrong fucking things. Like guys
Great.
don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But
Lovely.
SiriBot is awesome if you're a streamer and you need some like
It is.
Yeah. a good
I still have.
tool.
I'm pretty sure I still have Siri bot in there.
I do, yeah.
And because at the time Twitch wouldn't give us any tools to prevent hate raids, and people would get completely like just. And not only that, the worst part is they would also go into their their discords, and then they would start messing with their discords, and then they would also it's just it was like a systematic attack.
Yep.
And it became like so bad that like I mean I stopped streaming for a little bit during that time because it was just like nope.
Yeah.
My mental health was not good enough to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So I had to take a break. But
Understandable. Yeah. How do you handle trolls when they do end up in your stream? What is your kind of, I don't know, policy with that?
I mean, my mods are really great about banning, so, if they see, I mean, they're really good about catching stuff. But also like if it's just me, I mean, yeah, you get like almost 3 strikes and you're out, like if I feel like you're headed there, I'm just gonna, cut my losses.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like we were just talking last night, or yesterday, we were actually just talking because I had a person in chat that was that is a regular, and he's been a regular for many years. And so, and he had somebody come in and chat, and he came in right away and was like, "Fuck you, Alan." And I was like, all right. And we even told him this because we were like, just to give him an awareness, because we were like, like right after that, he told me, my regular told me that Panic Canadian, he told me that he was like that was his friend. And so I was like, okay. So then I understood, but like, first get-go, we told them, we were like, if you just go in and say that in anybody's chat, you're probably going to get banned, just so
Totally.
you know. So
Yeah.
we gave it some awareness. I was like, because coming in all aggressive like that is, streamers should not take it kindly. We get you know we get battered,
Yeah.
enough to where we will not take it. We're like, nope, ban them away. Like,
Yeah.
we'll deal with the, and now you even have the ability to, have message someone, that's been banned, or, or got banned. The person that was banned can message you and try to get like it, removed.
Hmm.
But, used to, you wouldn't even hear them after that. Like, it was just done. But,
Yeah.
I think we all like it whenever, the band messages are fun to read, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
so no, there's something about it, like, it's a good thing to cultivate the community that you want.
Yeah.
It's really, really important to cultivate a community that is going to create a safe environment. And so
Hmm.
anytime if somebody is not meeting your community guidelines, ban them.
Yep.
There's just really there's no point in like continuing to try, because they're probably not just doing this in your stream. They're probably doing this in others as well.
Totally. Yeah.
So
And I say this all the time, but like if my stream is not a fun, safe place for me to be in, what is the point? So
no
that's where it's
regrets.
like you gotta, yeah, like you said, I think cut your losses, and everyone's got different priorities that way. I know not everyone sees it that way, but I think for
Right.
you, like, you mentioned that like you're very adamant about this being a safe space for like queer people. So if someone's coming in to like troll someone for being queer, like, goodbye, get out of here. You know what I mean? It's just, it's
Exactly.
that simple. Going back to this kind of idea of like growth and the numbers and whatnot, like, I think for me, when I first started out, it was very easy to be like, I don't care about my follower count. I don't care about my viewer count. Like, get out. And I think the more success I've gotten and the more followership I've gotten, the more pressure I then like feel on myself to grow. Is that something that you've experienced?
I did. I went through all of that, up and and I agree. Like, in the beginning, I was like, I don't care. It's fine. Like, it's still, I'm having fun doing it. I don't, if people come in, that's great. If I get to, if I get new folks, that's awesome. But yeah, the more people that like, the larger my community got, and like, even though I don't, concurrently, like, all of these people of course don't watch, but like, you know as my Discord got bigger, as my, all of that like got bigger, I became very much like I got to the point where I was letting it, like, I don't want to say letting it, but it was affecting my mental health. Like,
Yeah.
I was feeling like well, if I can't grow, why am I doing this? If I can't,
Hmm.
like, if I feel like I'm at a stagnation, I'm not really getting any new people in, then why do I keep doing it? But there's so much value in just doing it.
Yeah.
Like, there
Yeah.
really is. Like, there's so, because it makes you happy, and because it, it brings you joy, and because it brings other people joy. And just because they weren't able to make it, you're literally like banking on people having the time to be at your streams,
Yeah.
and people having, and that's something completely out of your control.
Totally.
So like everything else we were talking about, do what's in your control. Just stream the content that you're gonna get a kick out of,
Hmm.
like. And so
Hmm.
I, that's where I'm at now. But like, it really got to me for a while. Like, yeah, and I was like checking my analytics all the time, checking every stream, seeing how well I did compared to other streams, seeing,
Hmm. Hmm.
like, just the apples to apples control, like, trying to control all of that,
Totally.
when it's totally not in your control. You can control the content you make. That's what you can control.
Yeah.
And you can, in taking risks and trying new things, that's how you bring in new people. Bringing in new people comes organically by, by letting your stream grow organically,
Hmm.
I guess is how
Yeah.
I feel now.
I
But
love that idea of like taking risks and like trying something new, because you're right, that does open you up for like people that may not find you otherwise. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, like, I have to be really adamant about like shifting my paradigm of like, what does success mean in the streaming space, you
Yeah.
know? Because there are moments where it's like you said this at the beginning about like when people first started chatting in your stream, there is something like so intoxicating about like people are watching me and want to like interact
Yeah.
with me in this space where I get to be myself. So that feeling, it makes sense that like growth feels so good and also creates a lot of anxiety. You know what I mean?
Very much so. I
Yeah.
think we're almost like afraid. A lot of us are even afraid to be successful, should I say?
Yeah, for sure.
Because at that point, people expect things from you.
Yeah.
So before, nobody expected anything from you.
Oh man,
Like,
that's such a good
you know,
point. That's such a good point. I remember when I was in college, I got this like I studied anthropology in college, and I got this award that was like excellence in anthropology, and it made me feel terrified because all of a sudden I was being seen as excellent when I was just showing up and like going to college, right? Which I
Yeah.
care about it. It's not like I like was like doing the bare minimum or whatever, but it was this thing where I was like, okay, great. Now, I don't know if anyone else's brain works this way, but I was like, great. Now, thank you for this award. Now I have to like live up to this idea of being excellent, right? And
Yeah.
like, I hated it. And I remember I
You're
had
like,
a
"I hate
professor. I had a professor that was like, hey, calm down. You just inherently are this. You don't have to. There is no expectation to live up to. And that for me is like something that I have to like remind myself constantly, because it's one of those things that like you said it really well. Like all of a sudden there feels like there's this like expectation to fulfill when really, generally speaking, your regulars are people that just want to hang with you and don't
They
really
are.
care what project you're working on or what you're streaming, you know?
They are. It's true. I mean, that's how I feel about your stream. I just want to come in and hang out with Abbers. Like,
That's how I feel.
I
That's how I feel
do.
in your stream.
Aw.
You hang up
You
first.
stop. No, you.
Oh, well, what are some kind of like maybe takeaways or first impressions you hope people get from your stream?
Oh. I'm like, oh. Because sometimes I always say that immediately made me think of like, there's been so many times people have come into stream and things are out of context, and I'm like, you had to be here for the rest of the conversation. But so I know that people get impressions like, what is this place? Of, like, but it's, I want people to take away that they feel, what I've always wanted people to feel when they come into my stream is at home. Like a home away from home, a virtual home away from home, that they feel accepted and seen and heard, in a place that, because a lot, I mean, everybody needs that.
Yeah.
Everyone needs that. And I needed that. I need places like that, and so I want that to be, I wanted to create a place like that. And so I really want people to take that, and to just feel a very like supportive and loving environment that they can enjoy like common interests, and maybe learn something,
Yeah.
through each other. And, because we all, that's all we're all here to do is just learn from each other. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And something that you've kind of alluded to a little bit is this idea of like streamer burnout and like pressure with streaming and taking like breaks. Like, can you talk a little bit about your most recent hiatus?
yes. So I went through, I mean, the reason why I took the hiatus is because and it started right after I moved to Colorado, for the most part, because I had streamed enough to stay affiliate for the last like 2 years, but really I hadn't streamed very much in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, and the reason is because, I mean, I got here and I started streaming. I did my like, I mean, I the first Halloween here in Colorado, I did like my pickle costume and stuff, and like, I felt really good about that and everything. But then I remember there was a stream that I did. It was my last art stream that I did, and I was like, I actually stopped it. And I didn't ever stop streams. I didn't care if I was feeling like, if I was like feeling myself, like having trouble with anything. I never stopped streams. I would go to the end and then I would end it, like I would finish whatever I was doing and then I would end it. But I stopped in the middle of that stream and I was like, I have to go.
Yeah.
It's like, and I took Oreo and we went on this like long, I think I even ran. I think I went on a walk, but I took her, and we walked through like 3 different parks. And I just realized that I was just like, I cannot keep doing this for now. Like I have to take a break. Like I was just so burnt out. Like I felt like at that point, like I had just like I had reached I was afraid I was done streaming,
Yeah.
forever because, I was like, if I don't take a break, like I'm not gonna be able to enjoy this anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
So I decided to, at that moment, like I'm not gonna, even though I kept telling my community I was gonna come back, but I did. Just took 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But like, and that's the whole thing. Like it doesn't matter how long you take off. It doesn't matter. If you created those bonds, you created those friendships and everything, if people, see that you're live again, they might, they're probably going to come back, like, I mean, I feel lucky in that fact. Like I still do. Like, I'm like, wow, I still have folks that want to come, want to come watch, but like what we do is valuable in that way. Like it creates memories. It creates this, these, like I said, like this connection. And when and our communities would rather us take those time off and take hiatuses in order to to keep ourselves healthy because it's important. And it's not right for us to push ourselves to the point of mental anguish in order to do something that's supposed to be fun and enjoyable for us. So, and an outlet and an expression, which all takes a very much a vulnerability. You can't do that without with just you know constantly pushing yourself. So um yeah, I took my 2 years, and then and I also went through a lot of life changes. I was going through a divorce at the time. I was and I had moved to a different state entirely. I did basically, my therapist was like, you did every single life change
Yeah.
in like 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, and I did, and then I had several things that happened here that impacted my ability to come back to stream. My mental headspace was not in a good place. It was not, I was on and off insurance, so I was in and out of therapy, and I was on and off medication, and I was, like, so all these things contributed to like, to where I just felt like, if I like I was just going to do more damage to myself if I did go live.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
because it just wasn't the place. Like I wasn't ready to receive that.
Yeah. Definitely.
But and I'm so glad that I did, because I feel I honestly have like, it's, coming back reignited a passion in me for it.
Good.
So
That's so
I'm,
cool.
yeah, I'm very excited for the future of
That's awesome.
of content creation and streaming and everything.
What did you make you decide? Because that is a long time. Like, and that is a long time in Twitch land specifically. I think I don't know. I remember I took a 2-week break at one point, and and that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. 2 weeks is nothing. And yet I remember it being like a similar thing of like, oh my God, am I ever going to go back? Like, am I ever going to stream again? Is
Yeah.
this the end kind of a thing? So for you, as someone who took a very significant, break, what was it like coming back for you?
It was very scary.
Yeah.
Like I was anxious, like I felt like more anxious than when I first started streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And like my first stream, I wasn't as anxious as I was coming back into stream, because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
not only have you, I mean, because that's the thing, when you do something this long, you have grown as a person, and you've changed as a
Yeah,
person. Like the way that
definitely.
you interact with people, the way that you have your perspectives have changed, if because you've grown as a person. And so like, how is that going to adapt over to stream? How is that going
Mm-hmm.
to translate to stream? And so you know I struggled.
Yeah.
But I kept telling myself I did it though.
Yeah.
Like I still did it. Like I didn't like not do it. And every stream, I kept doing that. And then just now recently it started getting easier.
Yeah.
because it hasn't been easy coming back. There's very much a lot of nervousness, a lot of like, am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I going to do the wrong thing? I started, really like, getting in my head about it, and then realized that I don't need to do that, like, at all. And I honestly, it's helped because it's such a, like I said, like a very like it's a very like vulnerable way to express yourself.
Yeah.
I think just you have to get past that and then get to the point where you're like, I'm doing this because I enjoy it,
Yeah.
and other people enjoy it too, and accept the fact that you are successful at it. It's really hard to accept that you're good at something, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or to feel good about it, or to
Mhm.
feel like you're good at it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I struggled to feel like I was good at streaming for years.
Definitely.
Like, I really did. I didn't feel like I was really that great at it. I felt like I was, mediocre at best. Like most things, I've had my mental health struggles. So bad brain days make me
Yeah.
feel like I'm not, worthy of success, or I'm not good enough for it.
Right.
And so, but through working on my mental health and through my own like personal growth, I've been able to translate myself back to stream.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm very glad. It made me very happy
Me
to
too.
see you streaming again, and I
was
I love
excited.
your art streams. They're my favorite. I mean, I love all your streams, but the art ones for sure are the ones that like I got so pumped to see that you're live and doing art, because it's like it's just it's a lovely vibe, and I think like I don't know, it's like I said, I love seeing people do something that they love, like that. There's something so like
Yeah.
fun about that, this idea too, I think of having a hard time like owning that you're good at something. I always feel the need to like bring it back to like, again, being assigned female at birth, we're not allowed to like
Oh no.
be I don't know, confident about these things, because otherwise
Proud of
like,
yourself.
yeah, exactly. And so I think that that's been kind of like beat into us from a very young age of like, don't come off as arrogant, don't come off as blah blah blah, which kind of translates to this
Are
like,
you vain or are you proud? And it's like,
right.
like you were saying, females assigned at birth, we weren't allowed. Everything was vanity.
Mhm.
If you even like talked highly of yourself, that's vanity.
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
not, though. You were allowed to be proud of yourself. You're allowed to say that you're good at something when you know that you're good at it. You're allowed to feel confident and feel confident in your own skin. Like, but yeah, we are like, society has literally beaten it into us that that's not allowed.
Right.
We're supposed to make ourselves smaller so other people can be bigger.
Yep.
And that's 100% not true. Take up space, take up all the space that you need. Like
Yeah.
and that's kind of where I'm at and like what I'm trying to do now.
Definitely.
So,
And I'm very grateful for spaces like Twitch where we can do that. I think
Right.
that, like,
Yeah.
again, it's a very rare space in my life where I'm like, I feel emboldened to take up space. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's something really cool about that, I think. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Who are some of your like streaming inspirations or content creation? Like what kind of streams inspire you?
Your streams, number one. I do, seriously. You're like, you're a visionary.
That's
friend. Like, you
very
are.
nice of
Like, you like, good, like, God, the amount of like creativity and like ingenuity that goes into your streams, like, and seeing you from like when you started until you've, and to see where like all the different types of streaming you've done, because you started streaming just because of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And like the amount that it's like grown and changed, and like the risks you've taken, that definitely has like inspired me to take more risks. So, and to try new things, and to not feel like I have to like pigeonhole myself into this, this like category. Cause I mean, that was another thing that was kind of a lie that we got told about content creation, and how to be successful is you have to stream one game, or you have to, be variety, and you have to do it this way. And but there's not, like, you can do whatever it is your space. Do whatever you want on it. Create whatever content you want. Some content, I mean, I did a charity stream where I, if people reached, donated a certain amount, I bit into a raw onion. That was entertaining for people. Why?
That's amazing.
So, I mean, yeah, Wikipedia and me. Oh my God. Like, I
We're gonna
love
do
that.
another wiki stream
Can't
coming up.
wait. I
Stay
can't wait.
tuned. It's happening.
So stoked. I'm so stoked. So yeah, you are definitely one of them. All of my friends, all of my the people I've met on Twitch along the way that are content creators, freaking like, you create this space. It's just so cool. And like everybody does such like different content. Everybody has something different to offer. Everybody has something valuable that they can give people, and I just really, it is an inspiring place in general, but like definitely you are my like, yeah.
That's very nice of you. Well, so the Bob Ross streams that I've done from time to time, those were inspired by you.
Oh my God. You told me that. Yeah.
Because I hadn't really seen, like you said, I think it's a lot easier to stream digital art, which makes sense, right? And so there is a lot more digital art happening. And you're right, there is some other like physical art on Twitch, but it is rare. And so seeing you paint on stream, I was like, oh, you can do that? It like gave me permission to try it, if that makes sense.
I'm glad.
Know? So
that makes me happy. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think that speaks to this kind of idea of like community and connection. Like I think you never know who's watching and what they're taking from what you're doing, right? So it could be something as silly as like biting into an onion or whatever, but like you don't know how that's affecting people, One moment, excuse me. Oh my God, I'm so proud I was able to mute before I just like hacked up my lung into my microphone.
That was
Professionalism,
impressive.
people.
That was impressive. I am impressed.
It's really a pro move when you talk about it after you do it too, to really let people know.
Yep.
I'm curious, is there what is the line between your kind of personal self and your like on stream self, your on stream like persona, I guess?
I always feel like my on stream persona is probably the closest that people will ever see to just like getting a like, like fly on the wall version of me in real life alone. So in my apartment. So because like that's pretty much what I'm like. I mean, I am, I also feel like, in my like public life, say like very different from like, my work persona, completely different, but it's just so close to, it's like really is just me, like it's who I am, that's who I am alone. But a lot of people don't even get to see that, so come to stream because you get to see what what I'm like when I dance in my kitchen. So
I love that though. I mean, obviously like there's certain things that we need to kind of keep separate or whatever, but it goes back to this idea of like your stream being a space where you feel comfortable to be yourself. There's something really beautiful about that.
Yeah, very much so. I think that's the thing that really makes it special, is that, to give folks a way to like, to express themselves in that way, which is so like natural.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. Twitch chat. Looking at you now. If you have any questions for SlicedRaven, go ahead and type them into chat. We'd love to hear from you. And again, thank you all for being here. And so it's lovely to see all your screen names and all the Raven love, because it's a testament to what an amazing human being you are. That everybody loves you because you're just great. But yeah, please type your questions into chat. We'll get to those in just a minute here. Raven, what are some of your maybe passions or hobbies outside of streaming?
Oh, I mean, art, I do art. I do different art, which I mean, I'm going to bring to stream. It's one of those things like I get very, I do things outside of stream and then I bring them to stream. Some things I like to just keep for myself.
Sure.
Too.
Yeah.
And so, cause I think that's important too, just to have things for yourself and things that you do that isn't content that you're making.
Yeah.
And so I like to read. I've always been a big reader. Being neurodiverse, as I got older, that became a larger struggle. So like now I read what I find to be the easiest, and I don't know if other neurodiverse folks feel like this if you've gotten into this, but I read anthologies. So like I'll read like short stories within a same book, you know. I have a really great one that's like queer and witchy and amazing and like anti-capitalism. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful book, but I, you know, like that's, you know, I like to read. I like to watch. I've always been a big cinema fan, you know. I could, you know, I think I told you one night that we were hanging out, I was like, oh, I could write a whole dissertation on the slasher film genre.
Yeah.
Like, and I could, because I love it, and I find fascination in it, and how you know, it's just like content creation, you know, very much so, like how creative people translate, you know, and express themselves and connect with people on the other side of that, you know. So I just I love that, love music. You know, I love listening to like all different music that doesn't really, that a lot of people don't hear even.
Yeah.
Indie music. Like I just let my Spotify go and I find new music all the time. But and then you know, I hang out with Abbers.
Yeah.
We go on all sorts of adventures, science
perk
museums.
of having moved to Colorado.
It.
Oh, we should do another
Love
museum day.
Yes, they have a good. I was gonna say, I'm all excited.
Okay, like the color thing, right? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. We're right there.
Going to the museum. Okay, good.
Sweet.
Yes, ready
Museum
for
day.
it.
I love it. I was
yeah.
gonna tell you that, and I kept forgetting, and I keep seeing the advertisements for
We
that
gotta go.
exhibit, and
We
I was like,
gotta.
oh, it's color.
Yeah. Love
So
color theory.
I do too, and I find it fascinating because color in nature is extremely interesting.
Yes, totally.
So, like its uses, and also like, for instance, the color blue is very rare.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
and that whole
you and we're sharing a brain, because I was like, we need to go, and I need to learn more about the color blue.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're gonna go.
I love that. Let's see. Geeky Gimp says, what are some upcoming games that you're excited to play and or stream?
Well, there's one that I'm gonna play soon. That Geeky Gimp got me. It's called Dredge. It's a horror fishing game. Oh, I'm stoked.
I remember you telling me about that.
I'm so excited. Yeah, she said that it's really good. She has it on her Switch, and so like I was so excited that and thank you again for buying that for me. I'm so stoked. I cannot wait to stream it. It's actually going to be the next game that I stream.
Nice.
For sure, because yesterday I was like remembering that it was in my, that I had, you know, that she had gotten it for me, and I was like, oh, I got to stream that one.
Yeah.
Cuz I've been so interested in it. But I wish I had a PS5, because there is a game coming out that's in the BioShock universe that I would love to play. Yeah. But say love you. Because I'm not gonna be buying a PS5 anytime soon.
Chat for the PS5 dream. It's
I'm not living that PS5 dream. Like, you know, it's fine. Stop making an exclusive PS5.
Come on, PlayStation.
Come on.
That's great. No, I'm very curious about a horror fishing game. That sounds amazing. I will be tuning in for sure.
Awesome.
Fenaria says, very random, but what is your favorite character to play in Borderlands?
Oh, it is Craig. Craig he's completely like, he says like his voice lines are such are just they're wrong, honestly. Like, they're just wrong, but they're so like off-putting that they make you crack up like while you're, and plus I've never really, like, I thought for sure I'd been into the guns, you know, like I'd been into like the Gunzerker or something like that. Like I thought that class would be something that I would do, because if you're not aware, Borderlands is an RPG, and so it's like, you know, they say they have different classes, and they have one that's like for guns, and they have one, you know, it's all about the guns in Borderlands anyways. But they also like they have one, and he's like considered, you know, and I'm not really, the game hasn't aged well as far as terminology, you know, like one of the classes is Psycho, and that's what Craig is, you know, and so he's a melee character, and so he goes after with people with an axe, but you can literally like become immortal with him, which is something that like if you go down a particular like skill tree with him, you can actually become to where you never die. And so I aimed at that. And it was a lot of fun. So
Love that.
yeah.
That's great. Hey there, Abby says, hi, Raven. Abby here. If you were a pizza, what kind of pizza would you be?
Oh, wow. Pineapple and Canadian bacon. That's right. You get
Hell
to
yeah.
choose if you're okay with that.
I love that. Polarizing as fuck. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Soul Vibe says, what's your favorite book?
What is my favorite book? That's a good one. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
That's hard because I started thinking about all the books I've read and I was like, I really love. Yeah, I loved the Da Vinci Code. Actually, I adored that both books, Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code. And then I had both of them too before the movies came out, and they so that's definitely one of my favorite. I think The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is probably my second. Like I read that whole series. It was really, really good. It's a hard read. So but it's really good. Like it was a hard read, traumatic reasons. Definitely a lot of trigger warnings for that one.
Yeah.
A lot. But it's it was very, very like well written. So
yeah. Kai Wildcat wants to know, favorite song to cheer yourself up, get hyped?
I've been really into Ableheart recently, so I think that's like what I've been listening to. So like Too Good has been like one of those songs. If you've heard that, I mean, he's all over TikTok. And so like, that's really, I didn't find him on TikTok. I found him he was on one of my Spotify playlists. And so because I follow a lot of like very independent, musicians on Spotify, like a lot of more independent musicians pop up. So, he started like popping up in my, and so now I listen to his radio pretty much every morning to get myself pumped up. Cause he does what I love about it is I'm a spiritual person. And so spiritual, witchy, all that. And so like, he actually like does his music at different frequencies that matches with the chakras.
Ooh,
and
interesting.
There's Bob Marley was also an artist that did that. His was actually tuned to, or is either not Bob Marley, Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix tuned his to the heart chakra. So yeah, and there's a couple artists that have actually tuned their music to a specific chakra. So yeah, it's very interesting. So like he does different ones, but his are it's very positive, uplifting music. Ableheart is. So I really, really love it, and it's definitely the thing that like gets me going.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think that like
wow.
Support. Yeah. Hi, the alien.
Hi there.
How's it going? I was gonna say, yeah, love of like indie artists and I think supporting people, that may not otherwise be found. I think that speaks a lot to like your values and things. Alien B and friends, welcome. We're doing a little podcast here called Why We Go Live, where I interview other streamers about streaming. P.S. The Alien B, you should be a guest sometime. So welcome. Thank you for this gorgeous raid. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Soul Vibe says we gotta manifest. We gotta manifest that PS5 for you.
And yes.
Oh, and by the way, the Alien B fans, I should say, I'm interviewing the amazing SlicedRaven right now. So y'all should go follow because they're fucking fantastic and amazing. But yeah, welcome in. Let's see. T. Miller wants to know, what are your top 3 favorite games?
Ooh, also a hard question.
Yeah.
Definitely Alice Madness Returns is on that list. That's probably still one of my all-time favorite games. Batman Arkham Asylum. And let's see. The third one. I'm like, it's so difficult. I mean, I would have to say Overwatch. I mean, because I mean, literally, I've been playing that game for going on 6 years now, and I don't play it as much as I used to. I used to play it daily.
Yeah.
Like, I have like, you know, I know it's no like whatever 3,000, 6,000 hours you have on World of Warcraft, but it's
Please
1,500
don't come
hours.
for me like that. Excuse me? You come into my stream? How dare you say something so controversial yet so brave? I don't want to talk about my hours
audacity
in
of
World
this
of Warcraft. Yeah, the audacity, please. Oh, amazing. Fenaria says,
Hell yeah.
nice in regard to Borderlands, always goes for Siren for the elemental stuff.
I love the siren. You have to have a Craig siren combination is like intricate. Like you
Okay.
have like this is the best like combo if you're gonna play with two people like and do a you know a campaign together. You have to siren and Craig. Craig will never die at that point. Like
Nice.
so I love sirens.
I love that in any game where you're able to like kind of like find that synergy between characters or like with professions or whatever. Like that's the kind of strategy that I really like thinking about, you know?
Same.
We're getting some pineapple on pizza affirmation. Thank you. Hey there,
Thank
Abby.
you.
I like pineapple on pizza. If you don't, it's fine. You just don't have to yell at us
okay.
about it, you know?
Yeah.
Kai Wildcat loves Angels and Demons, by the by. Let's see. If I have missed your question, please feel free to type it again, friends. But yeah, Raven, what are some things that have maybe surprised you since you started streaming?
That people wanted to watch me.
Yeah, totally. I feel that for sure. Yeah.
Literally, like I mean, I would say it for I think the first like couple years. I'm like, I'm just a goofy girl playing video games. Like I don't really know, you know. I don't know why y'all keep showing up, but like you know, like but now I feel like I do see like what I have to offer in streaming and like what I can do, you know. But definitely like that was something that I did. I did ask myself. I was like, I don't, you know.
Why do you think people keep showing up?
Because I think it's because like they do feel at home.
Yeah.
You know, in my community. They do feel like, you know, like a lot of times you never know if people feel the same way you do, you know, and I think that's the struggle is that you can't like, you can't ever feel other people's feelings. So you don't know how it translates. You don't really, not really, you know? And so like you do start, you know, you do have those moments of like questioning yourself and like wondering why, but then like, when you really look around you and you've created these friendships and stuff, it's like, well, it's kind of obvious of why people show up. I mean, they must feel at home and they must feel like what I intended to put out, you know, into the world. So
yeah, absolutely. Do you have any like pre-stream or post-stream rituals, like things you do to get ready for stream, things you do to wind down after?
So for winding, like recently I started listening to music. And like I said, the like Label Heart and like different, you know, the just uplifting music kind of like pump me up, you know, getting me ready. And then I always make sure to eat before stream too. That's what causes me to be late sometimes because I haven't just, you know, I haven't, you know, nothing wrong with eating on stream. I just haven't done it yet. It's just very much a, you know, like that's my time. You know,
something I think that feels a little bit awkward about like seeing yourself in the like the viewfinder and like eating. Like I get it. Yeah.
You know, like there's, you know, and so but folks that want to do it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know, it's just my personal choice or something that I haven't really gotten over, you know, feeling like is more private to me. So I eat, you know, so I always make sure to eat before stream, and then I also get everything ready for stream, you know. I'm kind of a perfectionist.
A teehee.
I've tried, like I said, and like I've said in my streams about my pour painting, like that has really helped me let go of that. You know, it's helped me realize that I don't have to come to the table for perfection. I can come, you know, you miss out on good things whenever you wait until it's perfect. Wait until it's, you know, you've got everything figured out. Wait, you know, yesterday I didn't even know how I was going to paint that.
And it's gorgeous. By the way,
You know, so thank you.
yeah,
Aw,
it really
thank you.
is. Like, if you're not following
Thank you.
Raven on other media, like you can see this great paint pour that they did yesterday. So I think it's on Instagram and maybe Twitter.
It's on, I haven't done an Instagram post. I did a story, but it is on Twitter and it's in my Discord. I'm going to I was planning on doing an Instagram post today though.
Yeah,
So,
but it's so cool. Pour painting. It's something I've never done, but like, yeah, watching it all come together, and like you said, the like experimentation part of it, like it's so cool. It's such a cool thing to watch you do on stream.
oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that other people find that, that's what was so exciting about it is like, oh, people want to watch this. Cool.
Totally.
Even if, I could continue doing it even if they didn't want to watch it, like, and it would be fine. But it's just really cool to find those connections with people, and be like, this is something that resonates.
Yeah.
Awesome. Because I love doing it. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like you hit on something there too before, just this idea of like not waiting. If you have an idea, just do it. I think that's such important advice because it's I think a lot of us want to make sure that we're completely ready and that everything is perfect and good to go, and you're absolutely right. I think you do miss out on so much magic and beauty and potential, and I think we often just get in our own way, which is unfortunate, so yeah, try the thing, do the thing, because worst case scenario, it doesn't work out the way you had hoped. But even if you have everything like put together and ready, it might not turn out the way you hoped. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love that advice. I think that's great advice. Let's see. Soul Vibes has another question. How did you find QWG? I have a question. What is QWG?
QWG is Queer Women Gaming. It's the stream team that I'm on. That's how I know Soul Vibes, actually.
Okay, nice.
And so that's how Soul Vibes found me. But I actually found them through another streaming friend of mine. Their name is Nico Malone. Okay. And so they joined that, and I was looking for a team, to join. And at the time, like, teams were very like, you had to, I wanted to be a part of a team because I wanted to be part of a community, not for how it would affect my stream. I didn't want to go into a team just to get more people to my stream. Like, that wasn't the intention behind it. And a lot of times you would have to like, stream teams were only able to be created, and still are, I think, by partners. And so like you would have like this one partner, and it kind of always felt like a pyramid scheme.
Ooh, talk more about that.
Controversial topics.
Let's go.
I think that stream teams are mostly pyramid schemes for the most part, or at least they started that way. I don't think all of them are. I'm not saying that all of them are, but a lot of them are geared at getting new viewers to the partner. Yeah. It's not really like geared. And I was a part of stream teams that were like that. So it doesn't mean that all of them are, but it means there are a lot out there that are.
Sure.
And so, and when they are, like, it's you can feel that. Like, and it's just not a good feeling. Like, I stayed on, a Twitch team where I advertised that team all over my channel. I had, emblems on it. I had freaking, because it was required almost. Yeah. It wasn't like completely required, but it was in order to like be a part of the community. They wanted you to do those things to be able to like promote the team, but then also you're promoting the main streamer, and so it just, I didn't really like how that felt. And also there's a lot of like really shady stuff and abuse that goes on in those groups. Like people can get, bullied, and people can get like, there's a lot of like discrimination, and there's a lot of, and when I found Queer Women Gaming, they were much like, just come with us as yourself, and there's no requirements whatsoever. If you are identify as a woman, come be with us, like that's, come join our stream team. And it's a very like, very much about just, it just felt like it felt like joining another community. Yeah. It didn't feel like I had to do anything, or there was requirements involved of like, or I had to meet a certain, amount to get like to this hierarchy that they had in place. Because I've been in Twitch teams that did that, that had like a hierarchy for you to, travel up as you got bigger, this like growth hierarchy. So, and it just, I I fell in love with it. And, and so I've met a lot of really wonderful, wonderful humans in there.
Yeah.
I really have, Soul Vibes being one of them. And there's others as well. And I had other friends, yeah, that joined, Queer Women Gaming. And it's just always felt like this very like inclusive queer space that didn't feel like I really had to meet some sort of criteria or as a streamer to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that like ideally stream teams would be a place where you've got some like-minded folks that can, can support each other and boost each other
Mm-hmm.
that idea of connection again I think is really important. And I also think it's important to recognize that for a lot of streamers, this is their business. And so they will run it like a business.
Yes.
And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that.
No,
But I think it's important to be aware of that, right?
there is. You need the awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think that like there's I don't know. There's kind of these like two schools of thought I think with regard to growth that I find to be fascinating. And this goes outside of Twitch, but this idea of like I think the comparison I always hear is this idea of a pie and this idea of like there's only a limited amount of pie. And so if you take a slice, that's a slice that I can't have, right? And I think
Competition, yeah.
and I think that's like such a fallacy with regard to
Mm-hmm.
streaming in particular, but just like life, because really like you and I think are great examples. We were just talking about this, like we share so much community, and I wouldn't have so many wonderful people in my chat were it not for having meeting you, and I think vice versa.
Vice versa.
So it's it's interesting, this line between like wanting to be strategic and smart about growth and networking and all of those things, and there's nothing wrong with that, and also getting into that kind of like icky place of like using people in this kind of like pyramid scheme thing that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It becomes like, absolutely, I agree. I think that I know that there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
I know that we can all lift each other up and like we were talking about this, it's a symbiosis. You don't there's no need for us to like be at each other's, or like, oh, you did this so I can't do this, type thing, or like,
Right.
like we can all be inspired by each other. We can all
Yep.
like lift each other up. We can all be positive influences and be that person that actually understands about streaming,
Yeah.
instead of being this competition, it's just icky. It just leaves like a bad taste in your mouth.
Totally.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Twitch chat, thank you so much for all of your questions. If I missed any, like I said, go ahead and type them in the chat and we'll get to them here. Raven, what is some advice that you would maybe give your younger streamer self?
don't be afraid to don't be afraid. That's pretty much it. Like, don't be afraid of anything. Don't be afraid of doing what comes to mind. Don't be afraid of how it's going to be received. Don't be afraid of saying, of telling someone what you really think. Don't be afraid of, of expressing yourself in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I love that. I also love the irony of that as you being someone who streams horror games.
Yeah.
Which obviously is not what you're talking about, but like, no,
it's good.
It's great advice. It's great advice, I think, for all of us. Yeah, definitely. Do you have any goals or projects coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I want to figure out how to do a cooking stream and hopefully not
Yeah.
burn things, but it would be fun because I mean, cooking is another way that I self-express. It's another way that it's definitely like I do it as like it's just something really enjoyable that I'm able to. It's very much like art,
Yeah.
It's a creative outlet, and so I would love to like I tend to create my own recipes and like take recipes that I know and like then create my own, artistic. I mean, it's very artistic cooking can be,
Yeah.
so I would love to do a cooking stream. I want to do different types of art on stream. Really, it's all about my only goals are really about content, and what I want to create on Twitch now, and how like different things I want to try.
Yeah.
So it's less about like I used to have numbers goals. I used to have, viewership goals. I used to have follower goals. I used to have all that. And to me now, it just doesn't make sense, to have those as goals, that's something that I want to happen organically, then I just focus on the content.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely. Well, for real, if anyone out there is not following SlicedRaven, please do yourself a favor. If you like watching artists do art, and if you like horror streams, and if you like safe spaces for queer people, and just like if you want an amazing content creator to go follow Raven. Please,
thank you so much.
With that, we'll go ahead and kind of wind down and wrap things up
Okay.
here with a 10 final questionnaire inspired by yeah
Okay.
oh it's a thing inspired by James Lifton, Bernard Pivot, and CJ the X. So just 10 questions, kind of quick and dirty. First thought that comes to mind.
Okay.
SlicedRaven, are you ready?
I think so.
You are. You can do it.
Okay.
All right.
No fear.
No fear, exactly. Which game or activity do you love to stream the most?
Painting.
Which game or activity do you
Oh,
hate?
wait, gamer stream. Oh, gamer. You said gamer activity.
Game
right?
or activity. Yeah.
Game or activity. Yeah, I love, I think painting, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
What game or activity do you hate to stream the most?
What was that game, Benny Fodder, Getting Over It? That.
Okay.
The game Getting Over It.
Oh,
that.
I remember that one.
That.
Yeah.
I did it to torture myself only.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Emotional intelligence turns me on. And just like having people that like really like hear you, you know, and
Yeah.
understand you. So creatively, just asking myself the question, what if I did that? You know, like, and I think that just in itself kind of invigorates me and like makes me excited. So I'm like, well, let's try it. And once I start figuring out like in my head, like how I would do it, like I start imagining it, you know? So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Mean people. So
Totally.
mean people.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean,
Which streamer would you like to meet most in real life?
Well, I've already met you, so
Check off the list.
check off the list there. I would love to meet. I would love to meet. I would love to meet them all. That's what's wild about it. But like, I always have this like. I do have a dream. I have a dream of doing a streamer like basically like visit, you know, marathon, I guess, or a road trip of some sort, and just going up the East Coast and visiting on my friends that I've never met before, because a lot of them are on the East Coast, including my best friend Johnny. They are also on the East Coast as well. So I've always thought of like, yeah, just driving up the East Coast and going and visiting Aaron and it's Abby and yeah, and all my friends. So yeah. I would love to, you know, and West Coast folks too. Definitely, you know, but like I would love to meet just all of my streamer friends I've never met.
Yeah,
so
definitely. What's something you would like to try on stream but never have?
I'm guessing cooking stream. That is something like that I've never streamed before, and I always have. You know, I would really love to try that. A podcast too. Funny enough.
Okay, yeah. What's something you would never want to do on stream?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Why do you go live?
I go live to give people a safe place to uplift and feel joy.
Yeah. Follow-up question. Why do you really go live?
I go live because it's the best feeling. It's been the best feeling of way of expressing myself to the world and getting to feel like I'm sharing something that, like I said, is valuable with people.
Yeah.
So and being able to push myself in ways that I wouldn't be able to in real life.
love
So,
that. Yeah. All right, final question. You're on your deathbed. You know exactly how much time you have. You have any and all resources available to you. Viewer count doesn't matter. Commercial viability doesn't matter. None of that matters. What do you do for your final stream on Earth?
that's a question. Like play Five Nights at Freddy's. No.
The thing that you were like, I'll never do it.
Yeah, no. Fuck it, I'm gonna die anyways. Let's go. You know, what would I really do? I'd probably, stream visiting all my friends.
I like that.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Raven, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for just, I don't know, taking the time, and for your insight and your perspective is really lovely. Really lovely to get to know you more. And I hope that all you lovely people watching take advantage of this moment and go follow, because truly you're one of my favorite streamers and just one of my favorite people that I've had the honor of like meeting from Twitch. And you are so warm and so smart and so kind and so funny, and I think everyone should get to know you because you're great. So go
I think
follow
the same
on
thing
all
about
the things.
you.
Oh gosh. Oh geez.
No, you hang up.
Oh no. With that, I would love to go ahead and share the love and raid someone that you know. Is there anyone online that you'd like us to raid out to?
Let me see who is online right now. Oh.
Meanwhile, Twitch chat, I'm going to go ahead and put a message in chat that you can spam when we get to our final destination. That seems like a weird sentence, but you know what I'm saying.
So I do have someone. One of my really, really close friends, Mana Russell, is on, and
Yes.
Mana is a music producer. Monica actually made the song for me the first year that we were friends. She made the song for me that was my intro song, and it's still my intro song. And so my like going live or stream starting soon song.
Love that.
And yeah, she's an incredible person and just one of my really dear friends, playing some Overwatch 2 right now.
Perfect. Can you type her name in the chat for me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time spelling people's names right today. Let me tell you, it's been a journey.
I get that. Thank you again. This was so wonderful.
Oh my God, thank you. Are you kidding me? Okay, awesome. So, friends, we're going to go say hello to Mana Russell. Again, if you haven't followed Raven, do that. And if you enjoyed this, we do an episode of Why We Go Live every other Sunday-ish. And you can follow Why We Go Live on all the different, things and stuff, the Twitters and the Instagrams and whatnots for updates and everything. You can watch old episodes on YouTube. And if you or a streamer that you know, do it. If you or a streamer that you know would be a good guest for Why We Go Live, you can send an email to whywegolive@gmail.com. With that, Raven, thank you again.
Thank you.
Say
my
hi
friend.
to Mana Russell. Make sure that Mana knows that Raven sent us, okay? All right, goodbye. Love you. Goodbye. See you later. Bye. We're raiding. And it's happening. And we're done.